Hello, friends. As my canoe glides through the Nile, I can almost see the great ships sailing past, their decks loaded with gold, ivory, spices, and rare goods from distant lands. Merchants bargain at the riverbanks, priests oversee temple exchanges, and scribes carefully record every transaction. This was the heartbeat of Egypt's power: trade, economy, and diplomacy. The New Kingdom wasn't just an age of military conquests. It was also a time of unparalleled economic growth and international influence. Egypt, rich in gold, papyrus, linen, and grain, became the economic center of the ancient world. But wealth doesn't just come from what you have, it comes from who you trade with. And Egypt had mastered the art of trade. The Nile itself was Egypt's greatest highway. Everything moved along this river: grain from the fertile fields, stone for massive temples, and goods imported from distant lands. Ships from Lebanon brought cedar wood for building temples and ships. Trade with Nubia brought gold, ivory, and exotic animals. Punt, a mysterious land possibly in East Africa, provided incense, myrrh, and rare spices, highly valued in religious rituals. From the Aegean world came fine pottery and olive oil. Egypt's economy was truly global. But trade wasn't just about goods, it was also about power. Egyptian pharaohs used diplomacy to maintain alliances and secure trade routes. Letters from the Amarna archives reveal how Egyptian rulers corresponded with kings of Babylon, Assyria, and the Hittites, negotiating marriages, military pacts, and economic agreements. In fact, one Hittite king wrote to an Egyptian pharaoh, complaining that the gold he received was not as pure as promised. Proof that even ancient rulers had customer service issues. One of the most famous diplomatic achievements of the New Kingdom was the peace treaty between Ramses II and the Hittite king Hattusili III, the first known international treaty in history. It brought stability to the region, allowing both empires to prosper through trade rather than war. And of course, with trade comes taxation. The pharaoh controlled the economy, ensuring that wealth flowed into the temples, the army, and government projects. The tax collectors, often scribes, were some of the most powerful people in society. Farmers, merchants, and artisans all had to contribute, whether through grain, livestock, or luxury goods. Avoiding taxes was nearly impossible. After all, the gods were watching. This booming economy allowed Egypt to build its most magnificent temples, monuments, and statues. Wealth poured into Karnak and Luxor, and the empire thrived on both war and commerce. But not all rulers expanded Egypt's influence through conquest. Some did it through diplomacy and trade alone. One of the most remarkable figures in this era was Hatshepsut, the legendary pharaoh queen. She proved that Egypt could grow its wealth and power without waging war, instead focusing on trade and massive construction projects. She was a ruler unlike any other, defying expectations and leaving a legacy that would shape Egypt for generations. Join me next time as we sail into the incredible story of Hatshepsut, the woman who became king.